Hello, I'm Ryan Zink, and this is Creative Intuitive Solutions, where I teach you how to use your imagination, your creativity, along with your clairvoyance to create change and find solutions, and to also really start thinking outside of the box. Today, I want to talk about extinction, and I also want to mention that my videos may really strike a chord within you, and they aren't created to piss anybody off, but that can happen, and it's okay if it does, because it's the anger and kind of the passion behind the anger that really can get people to start thinking and become unstuck in what's going on within their own individual reality, and also the reality that we share within the world, within humanity, and within the collective. So I just ask that you don't find my house and come shoot me down or something after one of my videos, but that you listen to what I have to say and get as enraged as you'd like to by it, but that you also let it trigger something within you to start thinking outside of the box and what's possible, and to discover more truth for yourself, whether you believe in what I say, or whether you like what I have to say, or whether you've got a strong opinion for what I have to say or against what I have to say. So today I'm going to talk about extinction, and I haven't done any research on this online. It's true, you don't always want to believe what you read or what you hear. So I get a lot of my own wisdom from within. And so I'm just going to talk about this kind of off the top of my head, but it makes sense to me. And today I want to talk about extinction, the different types of extinction, how they're created, and how some of them are in our control and how some of them are not. So the different kinds of extinction that I can think of would be if an environment just wasn't suitable anymore for a species to survive. And we think about this all the time. We think about this in preservation, how we want to preserve the water, how whether or not global warming is true or whether it's not, that we don't want the earth to heat up and for the climate to not be sustainable for us. We want to be able to sustain in the climate and for the earth to not have that type of damage where the waters are melting and things are dying and the rains are unpredictable and floods and destruction. So we're concerned about that. So that's a part of extinction as well. Another facet of extinction would be if a spacecraft like extraterrestrial came to our planet and took it over or harmed our planet in some way. So that's a fear of extinction. And we've got military and space centers set up to kind of protect us from that. So we've got protection from that. Another form would be if a meteor or some type of big, huge object hit our planet and struck our planet and created an extinction, which we know to be true with the dinosaurs. So that's a fear for us too. But today I want to talk more specifically about an internal extinction that goes on from within humanity, within groups of people with set agendas to extinguish population. And this goes on unconsciously, and I want to talk about how certain groups may be cultivating this and doing it kind of under your nose so that you ignorantly choose the probability to extinguish yourself and those around you. So first I want to talk about the military. And I'm not against the military. There are many facets to the military, and there is good and bad within everything. But the military has been around for hundreds of thousands of years. This is nothing new. The concept of military is nothing new. But what it does really in this situation, an extinction, is it creates experiences and events that create extinction. So, for example, if we are in an argument with another country, we send troops there to fight a battle. And sometimes the troops, they are trained, but sometimes they don't know. They know like why they're fighting, but they don't know all of the details. So some of them are misinformed, I believe, into what's really going on. But somebody at the top or the highest level would really know the full details. So it's for a good cause, and it is for protection. But we lose a lot of people in battle. So war is always like the first option, to fight and to defend and to kill and protect. So that's always the first option. It's never like really an option in the military to train people for to choose peace. We would rather drop a bomb than let it go. We would rather kill a bigger group of people than just count the loss in what we've lost. So that's one example. Sending troops over to fight war and battle and losing our own people to war, to battle. So that is a form of extinction. It's also a form of protection, but it's also, if you're being truthful, a form of extinction. Also, within our food, the food that we eat, it's been genetically modified within the United States through Monsanto's. And that genetically modified food has not been modified to benefit people, it's been modified to harm people. So it's a possibility that food probably could be modified to enhance people's lives. But in our scenario, or our case in the United States, it's been modified to create harm in people's lives. And I can attest to this. I bought some oranges at Safeway one time in California, and these were genetically modified oranges, and I wasn't worried about that they were genetically modified, but I picked them up just wanting an orange, and I got them home, but I wouldn't eat them because they were deformed on the inside. It didn't even look like an orange. So I threw them away. It wasn't that they were genetically modified that I was scared to eat them, but when I opened them up, they looked like a completely different substance than an orange. So you can see that the food is even becoming deformed, mutated and defective through these modifications. So that's one way that we're being extinguished, because some of the food does cause health problems and eventually does lead to death. If you eat it throughout several generations, it can be a big problem. Another way that we're going through extinction through these groups of people that want to create extinction is through the media. Now, when we see fear every day on the news, and we're in fear and survival, that creates more fear and more probabilities for survival situations within us. So if you turn on the news, and most people do, I don't know anybody in my new town that doesn't have cable. I don't have cable, but everybody around me seems to have to be watching TV. So if you watch all the violence, you are programming yourself to be in fear. All of that fear creates a higher crime rate, which creates more chaos, more murder, more mayhem. And this is nothing new. Newspapers have been around since printing has been available. But now we've got television, computers, social media, and internet. And though these technologies could be used for a greater cause, the ways that they're used are to control and to manipulate people into being in fear, which causes a higher crime rate, because the more that people are in fear, the less they can find opportunity and solutions, and it just creates tragedy around the globe. So the next thing I'm going to say is really going to make you maybe dislike this video or not want to listen any further, but things like 9/11 and mass tragedies, there are so many probabilities, so many stories about what that is, how it happened. Was it an inside job? Was it a terrorist? But I want to bring this to your awareness. That one event, however it was created, in my belief, it was an inside job. It wasn't a terrorist attack. And from my perspective, it was created to create a huge event that would have a ripple effect out into the future, and be a way, now that we are in the sixth extinction, to minimize humanity and to diminish humanity, not only in life but in spirit and morale. And I think of all the lives that were lost at that one point in time, but I think about all the lives that were lost even after that. And that's in other countries that suffer, and that's within our country that we suffer. And how we suffer is, you think about that one event. So many people lost their lives. You think about the financial crisis that followed after in 2008. So many people lost their homes. You think about all of the chaos and fear and survival that everybody has been in since that one point in time, and all of the murder and crime that's been created since then, from loss of homes, loss of money, loss of dignity, just from that. Then you can also think about all the life that wasn't created for people that didn't want to have children in a generation with events like that. So there are people that haven't wanted to have children because they don't want to raise their children in that type of society. You think of everyone that, because they lost their home or their loved one, or they went to war, all of the people that have committed suicide since that time. Okay? So there are many ways that lives have been lost. It wasn't just in that one event. From that one point in time all the way to present time, people have been affected on such a deep level that there are many ways that life is still lost just from that one tragic event that gets talked about all the time. You can't talk to one person probably for a month or even 2 months that wouldn't bring that one incident up. And then every year it gets celebrated, every year, as it should. People should remember, but it's just another way for it to be brought into your awareness, to keep that pattern going. All the many ways that lives are still being lost because of that event. And we just had an event the other day where Trump dropped a bomb. And so people are still losing their lives, and you have to step above right and wrong here and put that aside for a moment. And if you just think about the words, lives are lost, that's what the bottom line is that lives are lost. It doesn't matter whose life or whether it was right or wrong, lives are still being lost. It doesn't matter what your beliefs are, lives are still lost. And it's not just in a big scale by dropping a bomb, but it's in a big scale on how it affects people and their quality of life. People that have lost all hope since that one tragic event, and all of the people that are still losing hope from that one tragic event, even out here in 2020, it still ripples from that point in time out into the future. And people that know anything about realities, probabilities, or spirituality know how space and time work. And they know that even though that one specific event has already passed, that it still ripples out into the past and into the future. So these are the way that humanity is becoming extinct, just internally from within, from groups of people that do set things in motion to put people in these fears and situations where they do crucify themselves every day by murder and chaos and mayhem, and by being in the lowest depths of despair, by seeing all the fear, rage, and harm through the media and the news, and even to the extreme of losing their own life to suicide because they just can't handle it anymore. And I'm sure there are many other ways that if you watch this video you can see how this is affecting everybody. But it's not just the environment going to shit that is going to cause an extinction. It's not just the possibility of something hitting our planet. It's not the possibility of extraterrestrials. Some of them are really, really great, awesome beings that actually help the planet, whether you know it or are aware of it or not. Some of them aren't. But Extinction is real. If you don't have your wits about you, if you aren't intelligent enough to really think about it, why it's happening, it will happen to you. So it's time to wake up. We're in 2020. You've really got to question what you believe and what you know and what you want to create out into reality. Have a great day.